But Dolomite, that was his first. That was his first film,
But
and
his
so
all his films were very similar after that. They just it was his style. It was his thing. And I guess to me, knowing that those were low budget comedy action movies and stuff, like my thought process is a lot different. Like you judge it a lot differently. Um, but I think we're just becoming so overly critical about everything. And I think that's what it is.
yeah, and that's why I say it's a thin line because it's like at times we are we are we can be overly critical, but then on the other end, it's like okay, you've been doing this for 5, 6, 7 years in this new age, in this new technology with access to every freaking thing. Everybody write, everybody film, everybody got a camera, but it's like you're not trying to you're not trying to improve at all, but still we should support you because you black and we got to support black films to get other black films made. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time, it's like it's a line there. That's what
It's
I'm
a,
saying. Can you hear
it's a
my heater?
catch 22. Because
There you go.
we can't or we haven't stood alone enough that we have more power within our independent film community as a lot of independent filmmakers. It's kind of like everybody's in their small pocket playing or doing their thing where we're not an independent film or interdependent film industry.
Interdependent.
Interdependent film industry. And it's kind of like, and we're gonna coin that now, interdependent film industry. Good morning. What's up, Jamal? How you doing?
1 2 1 2.
Rosalind Hamilton, good morning. Good morning.
Hey Ross, I miss you.
I would it's unfortunate we're here because we
Right.
should have been at the Denton Black Film Festival, but unfortunately I have COVID. I'm coming down from it, I guess. Yeah.
You're on the show this
I'm
morning,
on the
so you're
show
doing
now
good.
because I
Yeah.
wasn't gonna be last week at all. um excuse me. So I'm here. But and thank you TK for checking on Tiffany and I. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Cause
Yeah, yeah, we have a film playing in the Denton Black Film Festival. I have a friend, I didn't get to make it either this year, unfortunately, but I have a friend who's there and I'm like, tell him you're coming to represent me. So I was able to send her tickets so she could go enjoy the festivities and stuff, the comedy show, the
oh,
because of
okay.
course they do a lot. They had the concert last night. Hey Tony,
Hey
they
Tony.
they had the jazz concert on Thursday night. Then they had films on Friday. They have the tech expo. They had last night. They had also the comedy show, and they have. She's like, "What's Denton Black Film Festival after dark?" I was like, "Oh, that's just the films that are not kid friendly." She was like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "Why?"
We're a part of
So,
that too.
huh? We're in
We're in
after
that
dark.
slot. Yeah, we're in it because of
I
the
was trying to look and see where we were.
slight use of adult language.
Oh, okay. I was trying to look and see where we were. Are we playing today?
Yeah, it's tonight at 8 something. Yeah.
Tonight at 8. Okay, because my okay, I think I screenshot it. I gotta check the schedule so I can tell my friend now. Now you gonna go you gotta go see my film, our film.
Yeah, because we did some work on that one. It was all
Listen,
done online.
listen.
Like
I
that's a
don't
feat in
care.
itself.
I don't care what nobody say. That was the most amazing thing to me. To shoot a whole freaking short film online. I,
Right. None of
and it
us at
looked
the
like we
same
shot it, and
location.
it looked like we shot it right with them. Listen, that was the most amazing experience to me. I'm like, baby, listen. That's why going back to what you said. If we can make a film, if you can make a film that looks that good, and you shot it online. Don't tell me what you can't do in person to try to better improve and better. You know what I mean?
But everybody's different. Like I'm a technical person.
That's why I
Lewis is a
said.
technical. You were script supervisor and writer. Like the
That's why I
people
said growing.
involved are kind of
That's what I'm saying.
educated in what they're doing. Like, we were telling them how to set the camera settings or for the app they were using. Kind of walking them through and then telling them where to place the camera, where to place the lights and how to bounce it off, stuff and how to hide the shadows. And, we had to go through the makeshift process. So it's a little different, like if you don't know what you're doing or you're not studying anything, it is different. Your films do look different.
That's why I said evolving. That's why I said, like I said, your fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh film shouldn't look like your first film.
I know, I agree, but I also I'm in
We
the
can agree
middle.
to disagree. It's
But you
okay.
know what? Before we get that deep,
Bring
let's
us in. I'm taking
yeah,
another bite.
we gonna have to get deep in this level right here. So let's do this first. Um Hey, welcome to the Black Filmmakers Lounge. The Black Filmmakers Lounge is where independent filmmakers, whether novelists or professionals, come together to gain insight and perspective through education, information, networking, and to discuss industry best practices that will advance the Black independent film community, or in this case, the Black interdependent film community, because that's what we're coining things at. Welcome to the Black Filmmakers Lounge, where we are creating our own space for us to succeed together. I'm here with TK Henderson, and I'm Michael Melvin. We're your host, and we like to welcome you guys. I try to keep some excitement. I am still dealing with the COVID thing.
That's easy.
So, welcome, and it is good to see you guys, by the way. We were out I was definitely out last week, which is probably a well-needed break for TK. And we're just here, talking. So today we're going to talk about, of course, what you're watching. But we decided to coin this show today. Filmmaking is a lot like cars. You got your low budget to your luxury, and how all of it impacts each other, and how we as filmmakers probably have to choose how we're going to look at the bigger picture, which is great because I just thought about something. There was a book that an old friend brought for me a long time ago called How to Make a Film on a Used Car Budget. And it is the same book that Vin Diesel read when he worked on his film Strays. So, and it got him recognition. He was in film festivals with his short films and his feature Strays. So now we can really talk about that because it brought all that to,
Okay.
But before we get started on today's topic, TK, what were you watching this week?
Well, I was going to watch a movie a couple of times this week, but I kept getting phone calls from my daughter and my mom. But I did go to the movies and I seen Missing.
How was it?
And Missing was done by the producers of Searching. If you haven't seen, if you haven't seen
Okay.
Searching is really good, really good. And Missing, they took it up a couple of levels. They took it up. They took it up a couple of levels in regards to the graphics and the way they told the story through the computer with the technology. I mean, literally all the way to, how you like they had these different screens open and sticky notes and all this
Right.
stuff, and you know how you have the little random ads on the side or at the bottom when you're looking, when you get to the end of an article and they have these random, stuff that don't make sense, like stupid ads.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they had on the side. Like they had everything. When I say I was like that graphics team and the editing to
Mm.
edit all the special effects to do. Let me tell you, I was just simply amazed. It was a great story. It had a lot of plot twist
Okay.
because you're like, oh, it's him, oh, it's her, oh, it's them, oh, it's them, oh, it's them. Like you like trying to figure it out. So it was a really good who done it with what she had film. Um, but definitely the graphics, and then to put all the editing. I think the editing was Storm did an amazing job, but I think the editing,
Okay.
when you guys see it, the editing is like the best part of that film because for them to take all of that technology and all this stuff and when to zero in and when to come, I'm telling you, I was like, who edited this film? That's it was because it was a lot of stuff to edit and to make it look good and put it all in that balance. It was so good, guys. It really was. It really was. So missing with Neil Long, Storm Reed, and I don't know the name of the other. Really, it was. I don't know the name of the other guy who was in it, but it looked like they could have actually shot this in COVID
Mm.
because of the way they told the story. Kind of like how
Right.
missing was. Searching. If you've seen Searching, it's like the guy at home online trying to find his daughter and using the technology.
Mm-hmm.
So Storm was really at home online and she only had like one person over. And then she was pulling up like Task Rabbit and certain, all these
Websites and
things
stuff
like,
to help with finding their moms.
yeah, so Task Rabbit, I was like, I didn't even know Task Rabbit existed. Or you can just, you know what I mean? You can pull up
Mm-hmm.
and get somebody online. So they were using those resources that are online, like the private investigator, like stuff. It was like,
You were learning stuff as you're
I was
watching this
learning
film play
stuff.
out.
I was learning stuff that's available because I didn't even know about Favor until we were in Houston, and I was like, "Dang, we need a printer," because we were doing a show in Houston, and I said, "Dang, we need a printer," and I got a call, and she was like, the stage manager was like, "TK, come open the front door." I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Okay," so I go open the front door. She's got a printer in her hand. I said, "How'd you get that printer?" She said, "I called Favor," and she said, "I did it on Favor." I said, "Favor." So I didn't even know about Favor until she was standing in front of me with the printer in hand that I had just thought about 2 seconds prior.
Oh wow.
So so it was like learning those other resources that are available online that I had no idea even existed.
But no,
So it
that's
was good. It was
good.
good.
I
Yeah,
I
you
I
guys should
want
check
I
it
want
out.
to see it. Of course I can't go to the movie theater, so or I don't.
You will be
I'm
able
not gonna
to.
sit
You
in the
will be
because
able to.
even
Yeah.
Tiffany and I were talking because yeah, I wear a mask all day now. I mean I already did before, but it was the days I took off the mask that got me in the situation I'm in now. So
Okay.
um but yeah, but no, I want to see it because I did see Searching, and I think there was it Friend Request was another movie or something, Friend Me, where the kids were on the internet and it was like a Facebook friend request they'd get from like almost a ghost, and they
Oh
would
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah
I wanted to see that. What was that? And they were like, "Did you get it?" And they were like, "Yeah, did you get it?"
yeah, and they were talking
What was
about
that
you'd
movie?
see all the
Anybody know the
stuff
name
they
of that
did,
movie?
what they were posting on the internet and things like that about one of their friends, and so it's interesting because it's like these types of films are being done on so many levels, and it's not, and you could shoot these via the internet, kind of like what we did with our short film that's in a Denton Black Film Festival, because they're communicating over kind of like a Zoom FaceTime thing um, in the movie, and it's how you tell a story. It's what you use because technically you could use really really great cameras or you could use the actual device cameras and make it practical, right? Make it that feel of realism built into it. Um,
I'm pulling up the movie because I was gonna watch it. It's called Jane. You're talking about the movie with Chloe Bailey? Well, it's two
No,
of them. It's two
there's
of them.
one
So
called
there's a
friend
movie.
or friend request or something like that. Friend me or friend me or something like that. I got to remember what it is, but I'll look it
So
up in a sec.
Chloe Bailey has a movie where they were I don't know if they were bullying the girl and she committed suicide or something, but that's what when you watch the trailer, it kind of alludes to that. But
Hmm.
they were so it was it's called Jane though, but it's similar to what you're saying, but it's about these girls at this prep school. And I think
Okay.
they bullied another girl, and then they started is some stuff online popping up about, and the girl started kind of they started getting messages from this girl who's supposed to be like dead or something. That's what the trailer alludes to, but it's called Jane, the Chloe Bailey. Darrell said he watched.
Oh, it was friend request. It was in
It is friend
2016.
request. Okay, I'm gonna check that. I'm at friend
It's
request and
when a college student unfriends a mysterious girl online, she finds herself fighting a demonic um spirit entity. See, so yeah, friend request is the movie.
friend
But
request.
you
Okay,
see, um, that's the thing. So yeah, Darrell said he watched he got a chance. He saw You People. He said it was pretty cool. Tiffany
okay.
and I are supposed to watch that.
I was gonna watch that
And
too.
I've seen mixed reviews from different people, but I guess I'm at this point. If you don't like a film, why post about it? And the reason I say that,
My aunt said it's interesting because I literally had it up to watch last night, and
mm-hmm,
I had it on pause while I did something in the kitchen, and my aunt texted me. She said, "Have you seen You Little People?" She's not even like she watches movie, but she never usually asks me, "Have I seen a movie?" So
right?
she's like, "Have you seen You the People?" And I was like, "You People." I was like, "Actually, it's on pause in the living room. I was just about to watch it." I say, "Is it cool?" She was like, "It's interesting." And so that's what I was like, okay, I have to check it. But you know what I did see? I forgot to mention the other week. I saw The Girlfriend Who Didn't Exist.
Mm,
If you guys have not watched that and know the story, I forgot about the story because it wasn't something I was even interested in the story. So when it popped back up, I was like, I don't remember this, but I probably seen it in passing in the news. But let me tell you guys, the girl, you talk about technology and people trying to switch it up and do stuff. Let me tell you, the that didn't exist was so heartbreaking to me in regards to how this man was done by this person. You guys, if you have not seen it, I promise you, it is very eye opening. It's really sad. It was really sad to me. I think I even
mm,
cried at one point. I was like, this is so sad.
mm,
So sad when you take for people to be so selfish in themselves and not care about another human being to the point that they could just break them, almost break them to their core. It's really sad. It is really sad, but not it's not sad that you shouldn't watch it. So I'm telling
okay.
The Girlfriend Who Didn't Exist. If you have not seen it, definitely, guys, check that out. It's a documentary, but it was so good. Two parts. I think it's yes, two parts. Two parts. All right,
Hmm.
I think I'm done.
You think you know? It's cool if you're not.
I'm
I watched. So I watched this movie on Netflix called, well, not movie, a Japanese or Korean anime called
mhm.
Lookism.
Hmm.
And the concept is a high school student who's being constantly being bullied and picked on, begs his mom to send him to another school, basically, until he
Mm.
gets to the other school and he gets into the same situation. And then he wakes up one morning with his own avatar. So he has two bodies. So he has his really good looking, handsome, fit body,
Wow.
and he has his regular body, who he is. And when his regular body is asleep, he controls his avatar, who can do all these things, and everybody likes his avatar. And when his avatar body, when he sleeps in that one, his real body's awake, and he works a nighttime job because his mom's trying to help pay rent where he lives because he couldn't stay with his mom because she didn't want to leave her job. So she put him up, and so it's an interesting cartoon because the concept is interesting. It's on
Yeah.
Netflix, and it's called Lookism. And
Look ism.
it I was like, wow, this is, I didn't think it. I read it and I was like, let me see what this is about. I'm
That
one of those
sounds
people.
good.
If something seems intriguing because it's about high school, I'm a teacher. So it deals with bullying, but the way it shows things or talks about stuff, it it's interesting because of the shift that people make getting to know him through his avatar. So he has the ability to say things through this other image and get people to listen that they would never hear what he had to say if he was himself.
Wow. I think
Um,
that is it a feature?
no, it's just a 8 episode series, 20 something minute episodes.
Oh, okay. That
It's
sounds so
cartoon.
good.
There's English version, of course, and but um, like I said, if you're into anime, but I like the concept. I'm very big on concepts because it is slightly different. Um, because most people would switch bodies with somebody in other stories. Where instead he has his own. He has two bodies. So that's another. And if you continue to watch it, then you see some other things play out. Because I started thinking like, wait a second, and I can't. I'm not gonna go deep if people are watching because I don't want to give away too much stuff. But I
Yeah, I'm gonna
started
check that
asking
out.
questions,
Hmm.
and it's still those questions are still in the air with some things, but some other things were surprising twists. You're like, oh, okay, I see that now. But so that's where I'm at with that. So I was watching Velma, the Scooby Doo spinoff, not spinoff, but the adult version of a Scooby Doo tale with Velma. She's a black girl in school, and um, it's been getting harsh reviews by a lot of YouTubers and other. But I know why, because the style in which they made this show, it's on HBO Max. The style in which they made the show aligns with the Harley Quinn show, which is on HBO Max, and that's WB
Mm.
or Warner Brothers, and it's a raunchy comedy, kind of in your face. It's like basically Family Guy and The Simpsons type stuff. Comedy but it's like tries to be this socially adapt comedy that brings awareness to um, things that are going on in the culture or problems of people, and I see what people are talking about who don't like it. I don't expect it to be Scooby Doo. Like I think that's the first mistake if you start comparing it to Scooby Doo. It's an adult it's those characters in an adult way, you know.
Mm.
Um, so it's
They took the innocence out of the show.
yeah, it's not innocent. It's not meant to be. And I get it if people are like, well, I really wanted a more mature Scooby Doo. Well, it is kind of mature. It's just that raunch comedy that, like I said, Harley Quinn has. Um, so that's kind of interesting. But other than that, I've watched YouTube a lot more. um, I've been meaning. There are some things I've been meaning to watch, and I think I could have watched something. I've definitely watched stuff, but now my memory is like, what did I watch? So I know there are things I was trying to get caught up on. Oh no, I saw the menu. I finally watched the menu. Um, so I get
God,
what
it
we
looks so
talked about
violent.
before, right? Um, and I watched something else. So I got to remember what it is I watched. But I did watch the menu and I watched some other stuff. But that's kind of where I'm at.
Was
Um,
the menu violent? It looks so violent.
it wasn't as violent as you think.
Okay.
It has violence in it, but it wasn't as violent as you think.
Okay. I'll check it out. Like when I was going to the theaters and I was looking up the movies, I was like, oh, there's a menu. I was like, he said it's good and really good. I'm gonna watch
Well, you
it.
could. I watched it, think on HBO Max. It's either HBO Max or Universal. I mean Paramount or Peacock, one of them. I gotta remember which one I watched it on, but it was HBO Max. So just watch it on HBO Max. You don't have to sit in the movie there. I've
Yeah,
shifted. I'm comfortable watching movies at home. I am.
I love still going to the theater. Tar, Spiderweb. Tar. I was gonna watch Tar last night.
Mm-hmm.
I clicked on it because it's on Peacock.
Right.
But then it was at like 8:40 and it said 2 hours and 37 minutes. So I was like, well, no, I'm not gonna watch it tonight. Because Friday night, watching a movie that late when I don't know. It was just like, mm-mm. I don't know I don't know if anybody else is up in age to where they, a certain movie at a certain length at a certain time just don't work.
I
You're like,
yeah,
oh,
get
I
tired.
gotta start that movie at 7 o'clock at night.
So I gotta and before we jump into kind of our conversation from earlier, what are your Black History films you're going to watch for February?
Well, interesting enough, like I hadn't made a list because if I'm gonna watch a film, it's gonna be on whenever. But I gotta watch The Learning Tree still. I did look for it this week.
I was about to say we should watch it. We should watch it this week to talk about it next Saturday.
Yes,
And
that
then
sounds
if
good.
somebody wants to hop on and talk with us about it, we'll talk to you.
Yeah,
But
who
yeah,
wants to hop on and talk about The Learning Tree next week with Gordon Parks? But interesting enough, now, which is a good and a bad thing, what I'm about to say, but like Xfinity and Netflix and all that stuff, they got that category,
Black
black
voices and stuff.
movies.
Yeah, everybody
Yeah,
got a
black
Black
voices,
voices
black
or Black
movies.
movie thing. Yeah.
But they will put some, because I want to watch Claudine. I have it on my list. Claudine.
Claudine would be a good one for us to talk about. We did talk a little bit before on episodes early on when we were doing this podcast when we first started, but it'd be good for us to talk about it again now.
Yeah, so I want to. So Learning Tree and Claudine are definitely, because I definitely want. Oh,
what's up? We could talk about movies all next month. Like for February, talk about Black films, talk about our journey, talk about, and kind of even tie it into what we're going to talk a little bit about today.
Okay, Darrell said that's the hard part with spinoffs and adaptations like Velma. You lose a lot of what you love about the original. I can't stand The Last Airbender, but surprisingly, people like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think sometimes I think the problem is you got to know where you're at. Like, are you looking for nostalgia? Nostalgia is going back to the past, or are you looking for more up to date styling? It's like I'm an 80s kid, 70s, 80s kid. So we were watching Thundercats and all that as kids, G.I. Joe and stuff.
Thundercats.
You watch that stuff today, some of it was corny, but as a kid, you didn't care. Some of it was really 80s, like some really 80s stuff was showing up. Or stereotypical 80s thought process, right? Things you do in the 80s, you can't really do today because of the culture, right? You have all these various cultures that are now more aware of what's inappropriate, where we as kids kind of thought it was funny, or we weren't as bothered, but we didn't know how psychological it impacted us or could. But you know what the crazy part is, like, because we saw Heckle and Jekyll and Tom and Jerry, but we grew up very aware of blackness, right? But we didn't think nothing of it because we knew who we were and knew who we are, because we were growing up in households that were leaning towards a Cosby more experience of go to college, be well versed, well read, educated, read books, expose yourself to things of us, right? Our culture, our people. So then when a Bugs Bunny or a Tom and Jerry or Heckle and Jekyll or whatever came on, we were more aware of ourselves that it didn't bother us as much. Now, we didn't speak up against it as they do today. We kind of did, but we didn't.
Well, and the funny thing you say that because people speak up against it, but I'm walking out the movie Birth of a Nation with Nate Parker, and it's a 5-year walking out with me, and I'm like, my eyes were like, did you bring your child to see this movie? Like, you know what I mean? But they're playing, 5 and 6-year-olds playing Grand Theft Auto and all these other shows.
Right.
You know what I mean? But we worried about taking Tom and Jerry off the air. I'm like,
when your rap music is talking about killing your own people, like we actually are the only producers of music that talk about harming our own people.
let me tell you something. I'm like, I mean, it's so many things like I'm like, when do we get to the point where a lot of black men don't think when you made it, that means you got a chain. Like that chain. Mm-hmm. You look on the football field, they're playing in these 20, 30, 40, these $20,000 chains. You don't see not one white. They got some guy, it's one of them. I forgot his, I don't know which one, but he got a whole grill. But he got this $20,000 chain on, and it's several of them. When you look on the sidelines, and it's like you playing in your $20,000 chain, but that's what. And I watched that finance show that you sent me on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, he asked that football player, what did you do when you first got your money? He said, I bought me a chain. Right. Like a chain in rims for some reason to young black men means you have made it. Why? That's a whole movie concept, right?
Because and that I'm for that, because I think that's also what we're taught. But like that's what I say about movies and films is we have the opportunity to have a voice, and we can transition into what we were talking about earlier. You know, because what we were talking about was the major theme of this show. Films are like cars. You have your low budget to your luxury. And what I mean by that is you have low budget films and you have films that have money and higher quality and standard to a certain extent. But the reality is, I'm just going to be real.
Be real.
I have yet to see a perfect film. I don't care if you shot your film with a $100,000 camera, a $20,000 camera, a $12 camera. I don't care. It's all about the story, and there's not that many new stories in our world. In the truth being, we are colonizing our thought process. So we have a Western way of storytelling. So we're not, and that's why it's important that we expose ourselves to other cultures and societies beyond America, and their form of storytelling. We are locked into what we tell, how we tell it. It's all the same. It's like when people were mad about Megan, to me, Megan is nothing but the Terminator. It's nothing but a robot movie about a robot gone bad, to protect the person it's supposed to protect. AI, same thing with Steven Spielberg. Terminator, you had Space Odyssey 2001, I think, where they're on Saturn. There's this one where they're on Saturn, and there's Hal, who was the robot that was protecting the people on the space station. You've always had that artificial intelligence that was either supposed to protect or destroy civilization or people. Marvel used it with Ultron. It's nothing new. The story's going to be told several times. You had a movie called Cyborg. You're going to have these movies. The Matrix, where AI goes against society. So it's about packaging. And some of these were high budget, some of them were low budget. And they became, in those low budget movies that some people didn't like at one point, today are what we call cult classics, that people get together and go to a movie theater, rent it out or screen it and show up. And so when I was growing up, we had blockbuster A movies. We had B, C, D movies. B movies and CD movies would be on HBO. HBO would get like a new blockbuster movie every week, Friday or Saturday, that will run for the next couple months. Boom. And it was like clockwork. But it got a bunch of other films that were B movies and CD movies that will fill the time slots that you got. Like, oh, there were low budget films. Some of them were good quality, some of them were poor quality. They varied, but the stories were intriguing enough for you to watch them. And what I see today is the Tubi problem now arising, where you got a lot of black filmmakers having a lot of problems with other black films that are on Tubi because they're low budget films and are not such great high quality to their standard. But here's the problem. Your standard doesn't matter. You know whose standard mattered? Tubi's. That's the part. It's a business. There's a used car. Used cars aren't all great. That's why we got lemon laws in certain states. Yo, that's what I'm saying. So you go to a lot, you buy the cheapest car because that's what you could afford. And people make the cheapest movie because that's what they can afford. And people watch the cheapest movie because they like them.
It's free.
Yeah, Tubi's free. And so it doesn't cost you anything. And then people, I don't know why I wasted my time. Well, my problem is if you wasted time watching a 90 to 2 hour movie and in the first few minutes you weren't bothered to turn it off, it's not the movie that has the problem. It's you. Because this is the reality. There was a guy. This guy, I'm gonna even tell you his name, and see you're gonna learn something from me today. If you're gonna learn something from me today,
come on, we're gonna learn something today. Go ahead.
Because this is my thought process on a lot of things and why I begin to really shift my thinking. Because we're more destructive to ourselves than we think. Because we have to remember how the industry, and I'm gonna let TK talk about how the industry treats us when we make black films in the industry. Think about that. Gary Dale, Dahl, Gary Dale is the inventor. Let me repeat that again. The inventor, that's what the New York Times said, of the pet rock. Let me tell you. So Gary Dale, in 1975, he came up with the pet rock, a product that sold for $3.95. Now remember, in 1975, $3.95 is still a lot of money. Like people's checks. My dad was like in the military making a couple $100 a week. Like, let's think about that, and taking care of a family of 5. Both my parents had to work 2 jobs. So I'm just gonna tell you, $3.95 was not cheap. Okay. But yet people felt the need to escape. And that's what movie is for a lot of people. It's a way to escape a lot of things that's going on in life. We're entertained. Sports is escape. Gladiator games. I call football nothing but gladiator games and boxing. It's all about escaping. So I'm just saying what I'm saying. Now, I want to tell you how much money this man amassed in 6 months selling a pet rock. I just want, and he sold accessories like a bachelor's degree, a doctorate degree for your pet rock. The bachelor's for your pet rock degree, because they had a mail orders college degree for your pet rock. $3 for a bachelor's, $10 for a PhD. I just want you to think about where money costs. Like the accessories here. All right. I got so much y'all think. Gary amassed $15 million in 6 months for the pet rock.
And that was in 1975.
75 to pretty much 77 or whatever. But yeah, in 6 months, this man amassed $15 million. And so what I gotta say to filmmakers is sometimes you be shooting yourself in your own foot because your counterparts aren't thinking like you do. And I've grown to become this. Where there's a lack, there's an opportunity. That's it. You're in a business of filmmaking. Somebody's in a business of building cars. They got low budget cars and luxury cars. We ain't running out here telling people, don't get no Ford Focus. It's a waste of your money. Put some real money in. We don't say to Ford, hey, you need to build luxury cars for everybody. So everybody can drive one. Because they deserve the luxury. We don't do that. We don't go, yo, people should make windows that roll down. Roll down. They should all be electric.
Who rolls down windows anymore?
But we didn't do that. We don't do that. But so we shoot ourselves in the foot because in the industry, they measure all black films off of one black film, off of its success. So if you have a film that isn't successful or doesn't get the views and doesn't make the money, then the industry goes, well, I guess we're not going to put money in this film. And then films only have nothing to do with each other. But they go, I guess we're not going to do this one. So it's a catch-22 for us when we talk about quality and quantity, because guess what? There's a lot of other films that are B films. Nollywood, Bollywood have films that we would consider bad, but guess what? They're all over Netflix and their people watch them no matter what.
Shoot, them Nollywood films have stepped up 10, 5, 50 levels.
Yeah, they've come up. But remember, they started low and they still make bad ones. Like what we would deem bad, they still make, but they enjoy it. You know what? We're too critical. Because have you ever picked up some marbles and say, this is a cheap marble? Why are we buying this marble from the dollar store?
I'm like, shoot, $1? This marble pretty good for $1.
You still gonna go shoot marbles. Don't nobody go be like, those aren't the expensive jacks. They're not of quality. There's plastic jacks and there's the metal jacks. Have you seen the jacks and they all got a bouncing ball? Yeah, like I think we were missing the experience of the audience. There's a machine. When I was a kid, we used to come out the grocery store. There was a machine, one for $0.25, one for 50 cents. And you could stick the quarter in there and you twist it and it give you a ball and you don't know what's in it. It'd be some of the cheapest stuff in that joker. But you'd be like, ah, and as a little kid, because you're happy, you're escaping from your everyday life. You go pay the 50 cents, you might get, you get something a little bit better. It still ain't worth 50 cents, but it's better than the quarter you spent. We got to start seeing it as a business, because every company like Tubi, Netflix, even you as a filmmaker, you're in a business of making money. Because if you're getting investors, you're getting things, you want to invest. So I guess the mentality now needs to be, this film here is a low budget film. It's a Ford Focus. It is a smart car. It's a short, good film to have fun, enjoy. This film here is luxury. It's a Marvel film or it's a blockbuster. It plays in a movie theater. If we start thinking like that,
Bugatti. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, this is the Bugatti of films. We're gonna spend $200 million or $300 million on this, and they lose money more than the low budgets.
They lose money. Remember that movie John Carter with Disney?
Yeah.
They spent, what was it, 100? They lost 150 million on, not exaggerating.
I actually like John Carter, the movie John Carter. I actually liked it.
They lost that just on advertising. They lost money, and that 150 million was just advertising.
And so Disney was like, we're not doing this again. So, and that was, so the problem is, it's subject, every film, everything, every book, it's all subjective to the audience. And guess what? You know what's crazy? What if John Carter became popular in the next 10 years? That movie.
They would be so happy. He said, Darrell said, don't let me get started on the success of black films. The criticism of Black Panther, oh, you put it up there so I can see it now. The criticism of Black Panther 1 and 2, Woman King, The Harder They Fall, boils my mind. I promise I'm going to get on people's nerves in the future.
Yeah. I think we're overly critical and we're not. So I want us to think about this because I know we decided this year in 2023, we're no longer talking independent films. We're talking interdependent filmmaking, right? We are a collective community and we're building together. And so we're interdependent. It's a mutual understanding. You know, when I come to TK, I know she's a scriptwriter and I come to her with the utmost respect. And I say this, TK, I got a film idea. This is the type of film I want to do. This is the budget I want to work within. Now TK goes, okay, well, I'm going to write within your budget because this is what I know you're trying to do. And maybe I come back, TK, you say, you know what, that film did so well. Also, just know that TK puts royalties in her stuff, so she's going to get paid when you get paid some more. I just want you to know she puts points in her stuff. That's the contract I got. So I'm sure everybody else got that contract too.
Okay, if Michael got it, you know everybody get it.
But that's good. You know what's crazy? I don't mind that because if I'm blessed and I'm making money, then the people around me are blessed and making money. So we should all be thinking like that's what interdependent is about.
But it's fair. I literally heard a story last year, a couple of years ago. There was a filmmaker, and he like Michael. Michael came to TK and said, "TK, I got $1,000. Can you write the script for me?" And I said, "Michael, you know, I know you've been doing stuff, and you trying to get it out. You know, you getting it out there. You doing your thing. You know, hey, you give me opportunities. I'll go ahead and write this for $1,000." The production budget, ended up being $1 million.
Oh. Yeah, she gets a percentage off your budget. So
right. So this is why, like as a screenwriter, you know, I'm not, you know, I know other people, you know, y'all do y'all points or whatever, but that's why I have to base, and I had already been doing that because someone told me who's in the industry a long time ago to do it. And I was like, that's smart because just like that instance. So he didn't owe her a dime more of $1,000 unless she put something in that she gets a certain percentage on the production budget first money's in. So they tell screenwriters, I tell you now, screenwriters, get your money first in because you don't know if that movie's going to go in the can, never come out. On the back end, you know, it was one guy a few months ago suing they made $56 million and didn't give him his back end points because they say they didn't have any more money. Like the budget cost. So they tell screenwriters, they tell us, get your money up front or first money's in. So all my contracts say you pay me so much up front, and then the next money, if it goes over a certain, you know, or I put the percentage 2 to 3% of the production budget first money's in. That's what my contract states because just like that, $1,000 and $1 million, he didn't owe her unless she put it in a contract. He didn't owe her a dime more. You know, hopefully he did what was right and paid her more. But yeah, he didn't owe her anything else from that.
But and that's the thing. Remember, we say interdependent filmmaking because I believe filmmaking is relational. And if you examine Spike Lee, Tyler Perry, they use a lot of the same actors and people and their productions around them, and they continue to keep them employed. And that's how they build. Like when you those people don't go off and don't do other stuff for other people. They do.
Right.
But that's what's building them. And that's when my thought process came in. Like if I have my core group that I work with, I'm not saying TK don't go over write a script for somebody else. No, if you're good, we gel. We're fam. Well, we are. But we gel and we work well together. I want to keep that relationship because that means we get better as the quality keeps going. But if I got to start off with a new person every time because I don't have good working relationships or cultivating relationships, I suffer because that writer doesn't understand how I'm going to film or how I look at stuff. Or that director may not understand why I'm producing this type of project. Or the cinematographer steps in, they start shooting. I'm like, what you shooting? That's not what I want. You know, and they got their own ideas, and which is fine. But that's where you talk to each other and they get to know how you see this world. And I think that when we're looking at what's on Tubi, like I know the joke was people are making memes of some of these people's films, but I'm going to be like this. Yo, I'll put a movie on Tubi so you can make memes about it all day long. Because what does that meme do? It makes people go, well, what's that from? Oh, it's a movie on Tubi. Oh, let me go watch it. That puts a check in my pocket to make my next project.
Every quarter.
So we're in the business of filmmaking. So when filmmakers are spending way too much time being critical of other filmmakers' work, focus on your stuff. If you don't like something, then go make what you do. It's that simple.
And take nuggets from it. It's either a good example or a bad example. Because I'm telling you, when I see good acting, I'll be like, ooh, man, I'm ready to get back into acting. And then I see bad acting, I'm like, ooh, man, I'm ready to get back into acting. But it's funny when you said it's an escape, the first thing that hit my brain was you're going to go in a tugboat or a Princess cruise ship.
Yeah. That's exactly that. You're going to go with what you can afford. And you know what? And as a filmmaker, you're going to make what you can at the time afford. And here's the thing. I'm one of those people that say your work should get better and better. But I had to think about it because every Dolomite film didn't get better and better. It was Dolomite. And they were low budget comedy action films. And you didn't take it seriously, but you went to have fun. And the audience did that. You know, and it became a cult classic where it really was a BCD movie kind of thing to where we talk about it today that it's on another level of its own. And I think that we as Black filmmakers need to shift into business. We're worried about our opinions. Opinions don't pay bills. Opinions don't write checks. Opinions don't get projects done. So are we going to have the solution? What's a quality film? Well, you didn't know what a quality film really was until you started getting to the film industry, until somebody told you what they think is a quality film. So that's why you listen to a Martin Scorsese or a George Lucas or Steven Spielberg or Spike Lee, all those people. You start listening to them because ideally they're telling you what they think is quality film, but somebody else taught them to think that's quality film. You know who really your film matters to is quality? The person that sits there and swipes their credit card to watch it or gives you the hours they got. The opinion, the criticism doesn't matter. I used to grow up watching Siskel and Ebert. How many thumbs up did they give Purple Rain? I just want y'all to think about that because that's one of my favorite films. You got to stop and think about it. Why is Star Wars such a great film? You know how many times I've fallen asleep on the first Star Wars movie, the one they coined A New Hope? It became boring to me. My favorite Star Wars film is Empire Strikes Back. And then it's The Return of the Sith. Or Revenge of the Sith. So, again, I'm the audience guy who went and saw Purple Rain 3 times in the movie theater and paid for it. I'm the guy who saw Empire Strikes Back twice and Return of the Jedi twice in the movies. We paid for it. That's what matters. Whether this person likes it and that person doesn't, of course you can be opinionated something you watch on Tubi for free. You know what gets me is the person who has no money for food but tells you, this is horrible. They ain't pay for it. but they starving. They say they starving, but they're not hungry enough. Because if you know a real person that's starving, guess what food they don't complain about? Whatever food's in front of them. So we're being entertained. We had the luxury of saying what movies we like and don't like. But the reality is, as the actual film creators, we should not be wanting to crush or comment about everybody else's film. Because we also open the door for us, for us to comment about our films. And I've seen filmmakers get crushed when somebody say they didn't like their film. And it's always the one person goes, well, this film sucked. And they go, wait, but they had 5 people say it was really good. They liked it. But it's the one person they usually, because they got tough skin. But it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The trophies, doesn't matter. You made a movie to fill seats to get people to watch it. And that's the beauty of Tubi. That's just me. I'm just saying. Sorry.
No, but the crazy thing is, what we don't understand is that when we publicly, it is 2023, and today, the film giants, industry, the big finances, they looking at all the criticism of black movies. That's why they kept black movies don't make money overseas. Black movies this, black movies that. Like you said before on the show, black movies don't have the same grace to fail as our counterparts. So if a black movie does bad, then it's like, oh, well, I have a black movie about blah, blah, blah. This is how it comes up. Well, that Tubi movie didn't do so well. I'm not talking about a Tubi movie. I said I have a movie that's such and such, such and such, such and such. Totally different movie, totally different thing. I got these big actors assigned. I got this, and that. Well, that one movie on Tubi, literally, that is how they're looking at our stuff. Is like, black movies can't do good and bad. They just gotta do good. And then they still gotta be questioned about financing. It is crazy. I mean, when I heard like Spike Lee and Halle Berry, I don't know how many of you saw Frankie and Alice.
Mm-hmm.
Alice and Frankie, or Frankie and Alice? That movie,
Frankie and Alice, I think,
was so freaking good. Halle Berry, I don't know how many years it took her to get funding for Halle Berry to get funding. And this is after she was famous.
Because they didn't think we'd watch it.
Oh my God, that movie was so freaking good. If you haven't watched it, baby, that was Halle Berry.
It dealt with a person with mental disorder. And we don't.
But hold on. But you finance other films, Silver Linings, with our counterparts that actually went on to win an Oscar for the same thing, for mental disorder. Mm-hmm. So why wouldn't you know what I mean? So, but
would you have a black version of Rain Man? But see, your face has said it all.
The movie was so good, guys. If you haven't seen it, it was Halle Berry at her best to me. That was the best movie.
Mine was Losing Isaiah. Losing Isaiah.
I'm trying to think if I ever. Okay, whatever. But Frankie and Al, when I seen Halle Berry that movie, I said, "Shut up." My mom was like, "Well, maybe they cut it and she then did the different character." I said, "No." I said, "Baby, I'm telling you, Halle Berry switched up them characters in the middle of them scenes like that, and she did." I said, "Baby, Halle Berry did her thing in that movie." But I'm like, Halle Berry comes to you as a famous A-list actress and say, "I need this money to film this," and they still told her no.
Well, think about they told us no on so many times. Will Packard heard no a lot. Tyler Perry heard no a lot until they went and did it on their own. And then the money was coming in. Now Hollywood's like, wait a second, they're taking money out of our pocket over here. They only get scared of you when you taking money out their pocket. Think about it.
But we asked you.
Because it's a business.
We asked you and you said no.
But here's my problem. I don't care. I'm not going to ask you. I don't care. Because I want to take money out your pocket. You know why? Because I'm in here to make money. Why am I going to put more money in your pocket and not in mine? That's not why I'm in the game. And so, this is where we got to start thinking differently. Because the game is shifting. I sent Jamal and TK a movie that is VR. Talk about put on your goggles. It's a horror Valentine's Day movie. coming out February 10th in
I
their
seen that.
inboxes.
I actually saw it. I think I saw that.
And I was like, remember when I told y'all that virtual reality movies was coming and you got to be making them for the goggles and stuff? I said that because I told them that, hey, get ready for the metaverse. There's going to be movies in the metaverse. You're going to be sitting with them goggles on watching a movie. You might be interacting with it. Yeah. You might be, part of the story in the room. They're shooting differently. It's like we have to understand. The most important thing is understanding the business and looking at its direction, its projection, which way it's going. What happens is we're too busy in this moment that we can't see forward. And the people that see forward are already moving forward. And we're still in the moment. And, so yeah, Hollywood doesn't have to, we're not viable to them because we don't have forward thinking. We're still, well, this movie was horrible. So, okay, it was horrible. Guess what movie I didn't like that everybody tend to like? And it set a whole new trend. The Blair Witch Project. I thought it was.
I was going to say, you better not say brown sugar or something like that. Okay.
Nah, but
Blair Witch Project, I saw that in the theaters too. And I was like, but because like you said, it's subject to the opinion and the liking of others. So some people are cool riding in the tugboat. They get to see the scenery. They get to see, feel the water. And some people want the big princess ship where they're experiencing all of it inside. Like you said, it's all subject to opinion. But like, I always say, just make sure you're giving and doing your best. That is my biggest, that I always say that. Just make sure when you're asking people for a minute of their time or a dime of their money, you are really doing your best. You're doing your research. You're really putting the money to good use. Shameless plug, Darrell has a fundraiser going on for his second season of it.
Yeah, I already supported. And you know
yes,
what?
When I can, I'm definitely going to. But so I mean, just that's my biggest thing. Make sure you're doing and giving your best and not just this is good enough. That's good. Like, in school, that's what reminds me up in school when it's like, oh, I just need to make a C in this class.
Right.
That's sometimes don't think like that. Don't think like that.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes you just need to make a C so you can get out of the class.
But
right,
that's when you're not using other people's time, money, and talent.
But okay, so I'll give you this. I remember.
Money and talent. So
I remember. Okay, so I am a perfectionist. My accountant even said it's okay to get an 85. Like he said it. And I was like, wait, I want the 100. Because that's my thought process. I want the 100. But he said it's okay to get the 85, which made me drop back for a second. And I, you know what? I say that to my students. It's okay if you failed this, if you learn something from it. Because what's more important is that you learn so that the next thing you do, you've improved on it.
That part. See, that's what I've been talking about right there. That's my whole thing right there. That you do what? You do what?
You improve. You get better. But if you're gonna but if you could be good, like never give less than your very best is what I was taught. But here's the thing. Somebody wants to be good at making B films and make great B movies. Canon Films, you guys, I don't know if you guys remember Canon Films. Canon Films is the same film company that did Death Wish, Cyborg, Jewel of the Nile, certain films that were very low budget and quick. All right. The only reason they ran out of business, they ran out of money because they were funding way too many films at a time, and their business started to fall. And it was two guys, I forgot what country they're from. They came here to America. They started a film production company that did low budget films. They put their money into Charles Bronson and some other people first, and then they started building their films. That Dolph Lundgren was another person they put money in with I Come in Peace and all that. Canon Films, go look it up. There's a whole documentary on it. And that's what you should be studying, because they were a low budget film being in movie theaters. We gotta, and I've always seen, there's been the blockbuster movie and there's been the movies that were in the middle and there's been low budget. There's always been that. And some go in the movie theaters, some go straight to TV. There were made for TV movies when we were all growing up. There still are. What you think Lifetime is? Or Hallmark? Huh? BET?
Lifetime, BET, Hallmark. There's a lot of, yeah. So the Hulu originals and Netflix originals are really made for TV movies. They're just on streaming platforms.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
And so we're in the business of telling stories. And it's the audience that matters the most. It doesn't matter about the critic. It doesn't matter about the other filmmaker who doesn't like your stuff. Because I had to ask that every time I see a filmmaker who doesn't have a feature out or had a feature or ever made a feature, I can't listen to them. You never made a feature before, but you're talking about somebody else's feature. But where's yours? Even if you just make one. I made at least one right now. I mean, I got plenty written, and I've made a bunch of shorts, and one that could be between feature and short because it's 40 minutes long. But like at the end of the day,
a short feature.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I keep making or I've made projects. I've only slowed down because of COVID. Now I'm trying to get back 2023. I said, TK, I'm going to make a feature, to at least 2 this year. And I've been writing low budget ones.
Because you've been writing. And you've been writing. Because some films you can't, I literally wrote, like some of the films you write, like they're like, what's the budget for this? I'm like, oh, I could shoot it for this. But on the high end, I can shoot it for whatever you give. If you give me $20 million, it's a $20 million film. If you give me $250,000, it's a $250,000 film. So sometimes when we say low budget, that's why I say don't even put that word in there. Just say I'm doing a film, Because
it doesn't, because your budget, it doesn't matter what the budget is. It's what matters is the good story you're gonna tell. Because you know what, like I keep telling everybody this, there was a film I watched. It happened in one location called Misdial, and I liked it, and it was a whole phone conversation pretty much throughout the film. She was working from home. Good actors
that last scene. The last scene.
Gabrielle Union was one of the producers and stuff. But again, it wasn't probably a huge budget film, but it got on Netflix because that's where I saw it. It got on Amazon. It's available to watch in places. You can rent it. You can buy it. It's a business. It's still a business. More than how you feel. Do y'all go to a museum and really look at people's art and be like, this is horrible? Why is it in a museum? No, because it's in a museum.
That's a good analogy for filmmaking. That is the best analogy for filmmaking. Because sometimes you go to the museum and you think,
what was the hype about, right?
And then you walk to the next picture and you're like, oh my God.
But they're both in the museum
right there.
But they're both in the same museum.
But if they're both in the same museum, that is the best freaking analogy right there. Because that was it right there. The museum and filmmaking. That's it. The films. That's it.
Museums, cars, is all filmmaking. No, but that's the thing. We have to start thinking about this like differently. And when we start talking to each other, we got to say, because here's the thing. When I first got into this game, like trying to connect with other filmmakers, right? I researched how to get your film on Apple because I knew that the industry was going digital. Okay. I was telling people the same thing with the music industry at the time. I was telling people it's all going to the digital world. You don't need these companies. They need you. They always need you. You don't need them. They need you. But the fact that, yes, cameras are cheaper. Equipment is cheaper. The crews can be smaller. The key is to tell the good story. It's the packaging. Some people, I remember, some people they get newspapers. And in the newspapers on Sunday, you get the color comic book section. People would wrap gifts with the color comics. They didn't go buy wrapping paper. They already got the newspaper. They're going to read the comics. They'd wrap the gifts. Wrapping paper is a hustle. It's one of the smoothest hustles. You buy something to throw it away. You spend money on something to throw away. You don't even really need to wrap stuff. Like, I thought about it. I don't celebrate Christmas anyway, but like my parents, when we were kids, when we were young and we did, you bought paper for somewhere between $3.99 to $5 to wrap stuff with for it to get ripped off and thrown away.
You can get the cheap paper that tears as soon as you open it, or you can get the fancy wrapping paper from Dylan's.
But why? See, we had to stop for a second and think. We keep getting hustled. We had to start thinking business-minded, because the smarter hustle was, I already read the newspaper. Let me just take these comics and wrap the gift with it. It's the same length.
Now it's the gift bag. I got a gift in the gift bag, and I'm going to give this gift bag to somebody else next year.
Hey,
like
Jamal,
we were using the gift bags like a mug.
Reuse the gift bags. Like, that's the smart hustle. People give you a gift bag. You take that same gift bag, you put tissue in it that was already in it. You put a gift in it and you give it to somebody else.
Make
and
sure
that gift bag makes it
Hey.
Jamal's going to get mad. Jamal, don't be mad at me. I'm going to tell y'all a story. This is why I say thought process. So when Jamal and I were younger men, early 20s, teens, 19s, 20s, Jamal used to go to the gaming store, like when y'all go to Sunco and Sam Goody's and GameStop. Not the other one from GameStop. It was another one that was a video game store. But we'd go and he would buy, and we'd go to the bookstore and he would buy the gaming magazines. The magazines were like $3.99, $5.99, $4.99, whatever. And I said, why are you paying for that? What do you mean? So why do you buy that all the time? Because it's here. I came in the store. I bought it. I said, yeah, but open the magazine up. Postcard thing falls out. I said, $12. You can get the whole year.
Yep.
Take the postcard, fill that joker out, and pay for the whole year. You just buying 2 of those or 3 of those magazines, you paid for the whole year, but you only got 3 months. He's like, damn. I said, I can give you another one, because he wanted to go to the music industry. Buy your instruments from the music companies, the stores, like Bill Music, Sweetwater, all that. I said, wow. I said, when you buy an instrument, they subscribe you to the trade magazines for your industry.
Mm-hmm.
When I bought camera equipment, I used to get DV magazine, Video Maker, all these magazines for free because I bought equipment and the companies were tied advertising through those magazines. So they would buying this $1,200 to $5,000 camera or whatever, light kit or whatever. They just subscribed you to the magazine. They just sent you a thing. Would you be interested in getting this magazine? And it kept coming to my house until I said, no, I don't want it no more. Or they went digital. A lot of them went digital, like Video Maker, digital video, independent film. All of them went digital. But I was getting the trades for free. I wasn't paying for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is your industry and they want to tap into you. And they make more money off of the advertising. So if Canon puts an ad, Sony puts an ad, Blackmagic puts an ad in their magazine, that covers the cost of the magazine. They want to get it out to the audience because actually those companies need to know who's reading the magazine.
Right.
How many readers you got, because I'm not going to keep advertising if people aren't seeing this and buying equipment. All my stuff was coming to my house. I was getting these magazines. I have stacks of them. I would take them to work for the kids to use later. But, I have these stacks. And I didn't pay a dime for them. And if you do pay for them, again, get the postcard, fill it out. Guess what? If you're in business of film, It's also a tax write-off because you have a subscription to a trade in your industry. So you write off the $12, you write off the $15, but you keep going. You don't have to keep going to the bookstore and buying the magazine. It's cheaper the other way. But that's what business people do. They know the hustle. What we do as consumers, we buy, and we're not thinking of the big picture. We're not visualizing the business aspect of it. That's where we make our mistake. Because all those YouTubers you watching, they're in the business of doing what they're doing because they need you to watch their channel. Right? So they're going to give you the, don't buy this camera. That's what it says. But then they did a review. Oh, the camera's such a good camera. I really end up liking it. And, now, and guess what? And guess who's paying them to do that video? They have to tell you if they're being paid for it or not by the company, or if the company sent them out a free one for them to test out. It's an ad. Their hustle is to get you to watch them talk about cameras and stuff so they can get paid to talk about cameras so they can take their money and go make their low budget and high budget film. While you sitting there worrying about how good someone else's film is or isn't. And that person whose film you're talking about is bad, they cash in checks. That's what I'm trying to get us to stop doing. It's look, you didn't like it? Cool. Don't say it on Facebook. Don't say it on Instagram. Don't say nothing. What you do like, talk about it. Because you're free advertising for them when you do anyway. So advertise what you liked. Because word of mouth is the greatest form of advertising. It hasn't changed. The medium has. We don't talk to each other outside as much, so we on Facebook talking. We're on Instagram talking. We don't get paid to advertise. But you know what? Who got paid? That YouTuber with his own channel who's criticizing a film or talking about it, they get paid for that. Mm-hmm. It's a hustle. So as us, what are we going to do now? What's our solution so we can start getting paid, so we can keep making movies and make the next one and the next one and the next? What's our hustle? What's your hustle? Share it in the comments. Sorry. I know TK's hustling. She got 3 movies this year. Because you got Jade, right? The HBCU movie. I really want you know what I want you to make?
Well, that one might be so. That one is. I'm just gonna say that one is sold.
Oh, you got it.
No. Yeah, it's a negotiation happening right now.
For
that one's sold. Mm-hmm. That one's sold. But I prayed about it, and then the way it happened, and all of it, I said, okay, kind of like the timing of everything, and I said, okay, I guess it's supposed to sell it, but it wasn't mine.
We're talking about Project Him, by the way.
Project Him, y'all, is that's my joint. But I still have The Garter and LOL. Those two I'm not looking to sell. The Garter and LOL, Love Over Lyrics.
Oh yeah, that's her. Yeah.
Yes. So but yeah, I'm trying, while you were talking, I was trying to think of a gym. But making movies, consulting with others to help to make making movies and consulting with others to help them. Thaddeus. That is my biggest thing in today. Literally, us signing contracts, us making movies, us doing scripts. We're doing all of this, and we have so much available to us. And then, like when I'm looking at movies, I'm like, and you watch a movie to enjoy it. I don't watch a movie to be critical. I watch a movie to enjoy it. But when you see a gap as wide as the Nile, the first thing I'm like, why didn't they have somebody who write actually scripts or something to actually consult and just make sure that I have one person. She's not even in the industry. I send my script to her. She catches every freaking hole, whether it's a stream or an ocean. She catches pretty much almost everything, except for maybe 1 or 2 little things. You know what I mean? But one person, and she's not even in the film industry. And so for us to always consult. Like we have too many. That's what, Michael created this show for people to network and be resources for each other. There's too many resources. When I got a contract in yesterday, it wasn't a contract I created. So guess what? Hey, can you review this contract for me? It looks good to me, but I just want to be sure I'm not missing anything. Sure,
Mm-hmm.
send it over. We have too many bad deals and all this stuff being signed that all you have to do is ask somebody. Like when Thomas was like, "Hey TK, I got a deal with Tubi. Do you know anything about Tubi?" I'm like, "No, but I know Derek has movies on Tubi. So let me see if Derek will talk to you so you can make sure you're getting the right deal with Tubi." Like we have too many resources. So that's my gem. Use your resources. Use your resources. Use your resources. Don't be
Mm-hmm.
scared to reach out and ask people questions.
Get
Just ask.
interdependent in filmmaking. It's
That's
interdependent
my
filmmaking.
sign for interdependent now.
Yeah, interdependent filmmaking. That is our theme from here on out in 2023. Um, you know, and
Yay,
everybody's
Vegas!
experience, congratulations. Everybody's experience with a company is different too. Like, so talk to different people, find out. Um, I just don't jump on board with everything. I've had conversations with different companies for stuff. But I'm really paying attention to what people are saying because everybody I'm talking to or spoke with on distribution or whatever, they're in the business of making money and they are middlemen. And let me help you again. They're salesmen selling used cars and new cars to the audience, and you are the car manufacturer. So they're trying to maximize their earning potential off of your car. So your
Yes.
film, whether it's low budget, mid budget, high end budget, luxury budget, they're going to sell it and they're going to try to make the most money off of it. Sometimes what they'll do is they'll package multiple cars that are low budget.
And they'll throw a sound system in it by boys.
They give you something. No, because I'll tell you, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the people who did Flywheel and
Of course.
yeah,
The Coen
so
brothers.
yeah. And so
I love
Flywheel
them.
was their first movie. It didn't do well. But you cannot get a distribution package without it for any of their other movies. They want to get paid off of it regardless. They're in the business. They understand it.
It's the business.
You liked what was it?
Facing the Giants. Every time I'm
yeah.
having a down moment, I watch Facing the Giants, which was their second movie, if I'm not mistaken. That was their second movie.
Facing Giants. No, I thought it was Fireproof. Then Facing the Giants.
No,
Or is it one? Okay, it's Facing Giants, then Fireproof. I know it was like Flywheel. It was that Fireproof, Facing the Giants. Then it
I
was
think Fireproof was their second. Look, you're gonna have to look it up. But yeah, every time, but like you're saying, then they go back and watch those.
Anytime somebody wanted
Is it the Coen brothers? No, not the Coen. Hold on.
No, it's not the Coen brothers.
It's the other brothers. Kendrick
yeah.
brothers.
They're out of Albany, Georgia.
Yeah, Kendrick. Are they?
Mm-hmm.
Why did I think that church they work with was
Albany,
there we
Georgia.
go. Kendrick's brothers. Yes, Darrell. Developing projects, filming series, working on others, and applying to programs. Darrell, working in your gifts. That is the biggest thing we can do. When I was talking to a friend, I was trying to pull up the order of movies. I was talking to a friend, and we were talking about the guy, the Gonzalez brothers, and the Inky brothers, Inky boys. I don't know, the little guy, the little Hispanic boy that does all those skits with his dad.
His dad died, yeah, from cancer.
35 years old from freaking colon cancer. I'm literally crying. Like, I'm literally crying thinking about that. And I told my friend, I said, God put me on this earth not to take up space, and I'm going to use my gifts and I'm going to use my talents like he asked me to do. Uncomfortable and awe, because I mean, we're not here to take up space. And I mean, I might not be here tomorrow. I'm like, hey, Jalen, I got 13 scripts, original scripts plus contracts on all these other scripts. Hey,
Yeah,
but
and
I want.
Gregory Allen Howard, who
Mhm.
wrote Remember the Giants, Ali, and Harriet. He died.
Oh, really? How old was he?
He was 70,
Wow.
and this was just recent. So I think it was either this morning or yesterday. Um,
Wow.
I have to go back and look. But
Mhm.
you know, and that's the thing. You don't have time for criticism as a filmmaker. You try to listen. What's more important, how you feel about somebody else's work or working on your legacy?
Come on.
My
That's it right
legacy
there.
isn't criticism. My legacy is making my dreams happen. Build your dreams, leave your legacy. That's been my motto for many years. Build your dream, leave your legacy. So for me, when I talk to people, that's in the front of my mind. I'm a win-win person. Everybody wins. Why do we need to lose?
Hmm.
There's a place for everybody's stuff. Low budget, mid budget, high budget, luxury budget. That's why there's different cars on a car lot. There's a place for everybody's stuff. We can't get wrapped up into any of that. As filmmakers, we need to get wrapped up in the business. We need to start thinking and what's our next move and what are we going to do to help our young people come in and usher. What movement do we usher? Because here's the thing. With the platforms, there's tons of platforms out there. And the platforms need your films, right? But they also need to start coming talking business. Because they're going to come talking, hey, I got a platform. This is what I'll pay you, or I'll pay you on the tail end. I did not make my movie on the tail end. Do you hear what I just said? So I made my movie on the front end. What I mean by that is it takes money to make the movie. So it takes money to play the movie. I'm not negotiating contracts that are tail end contracts. Let's pay me something up front. I'd rather you license up front. And that licensing
Wow.
is smarter than me. Hmm?
I was looking at the Reels comment. Wow. That's
You
how I
know,
go. And it's funny because in those forums, but people are like, I do not pay my rent on I do not pay my rent on what are they saying? People
exposure.
exposure. But Thaddeus, yes, that's the hardest part. But it's funny, Thaddeus, because some people in the industry, like when you go to talks and panels, I went to this one panel and they were asking this girl, well, how do you get an agent? She was like, well, I don't know. I just did this. I just came out of school and did this. It's like, but I mean, whatever it was, she wasn't on the ground level. I was like, hello. I was like, I cannot wait to get on these panels and be real with people. People like, oh, just get an agent. Get an agent. They want you to be in the top 1% of the Nick or the winner of the Nichols Fellowship or the Austin Film Festival, where there are over 10,000 scripts. And you got people from the streets reading the first two rounds that don't even know anything about filmmaking. But you want me script writing. But and like I
Mhm.
said, that is not what I heard. That's what I know. So, but you want me to win number one in that before I can get an agent. But people are on these panels telling you, oh, just go get an agent if to sell scripts. No, that's not how none of this
It
works.
isn't easy like that. They want sure things because they're looking to get paid from you. It's like this. All these middlemen, and this is why I call everybody a middleman. They're not creating it. They're not making it. They have no hands-on work. They're discussing with other people to get it played or to lease it or buy it from you. They're salesmen. They're middlemen.
Mhm.
That's why an agent is a salesman. You got a real estate agent. They ain't build the house. They're selling you the house that somebody else built. They're an agent. They make commission off the actual sales. So you have different real estate agents. You got low end real estate agents. They know they can sell a bunch of quick houses that are cheap and they make quick money fast. Little, but they have to sell more houses to accumulate. You have the mid-level real estate person. They sell a house within a certain market that they know families need or whatever, that you have the money to get it. And so they work within that. Then you got luxury. All they do is sell luxury homes. They won't, if it's under $1 million, they don't
Oh
mess
yeah.
with it.
They like, oh TK, I don't know about this one because your budget is 300,000 and I only deal with 20 million films and up. I said, well, if you need it to be 20 million, it could be whatever you want it
Be
to
where you want it to be, right?
It could be whatever you want it to be because Taraji,
P. Henson.
What Men Want, that was 20 million. But also I had an agent that told me I shared one of my Lifetime films with him scripts with him so he can see just see something.
See you
Because
writing. Yeah.
I can't say writing style because my style is, different, but per script. But it was funny because he said, TK, you can write really well, but I need something I can sell. If you can't sell a Lifetime movie and the same movies are coming out on Lifetime every freaking week, I was just like, so you got to be careful because sometimes that could have put me in a big slump. But I'm like, no, I know what I'm looking at on TV. So this is, I know what, like, you know your style, the style of the script that you wrote. But anyway, so yeah, just be careful on who's giving you your opinion. I don't care what their status. I always say that I don't care what their status and title is. Be careful because everything is still subject to personal opinion.
They told Tyler Perry nobody watches stuff. He wouldn't get the deal. But look at it now. He watch this. They're filming at his studio.
They're filming at his studio. I don't have any gyms. I've gave all my gyms.
Nah, you good. No, so I to piggyback real quick. Flywheel was first. Then it was Facing the Giants. Then Fireproof. Mm-hmm. Then you had Courageous. Then War Room and Overcomer. Now they got a new one called Life Mark. But if you try to distribute their films like on TV or a platform, you have to, they include other movies in it. Like you can't just get the one you want. That's smart movement. You want this bad enough because you know it garners the audience. So you're going to have to take this too. And it's going to cost you this much. That's what you do. They knew how to market. They knew how to make people. Flywheel didn't do well. The others did. And so they made sure that film got attached to those deals.
Oh, absolutely.
We think differently. That's why I say you got to study the business side of it and not the critical how you feel. It doesn't matter how you feel. Your audience is the one watching it. Now, if other filmmakers are your audience, cool. But I think other filmmakers just watch people's films sometimes. Why is their movie on Tubi and mine's not? Well, ask them what they did instead of wasting their time and energy to downplay somebody else's hard work. Ask them, what did you do? That's the best thing you could ever do. I don't care how you feel. I don't, there's a lot of stuff I like and don't like. I mean, I buy toys and stuff. There's toys, action figures I would never buy. There's some I would. Everybody's different. It's about your audience. All right, so my gym is simple. It's interdependent filmmaking is the message for this year for us here at the Black Filmmakers Lounge. We're trying to bring you guys closer together. We have been doing very well with the Zoom group, actually. And we're only going to meet once a month, and people have come and chimed in and they're connecting outside of here from what I'm seeing when they're communicating. So I want to keep seeing that happen and, talk to people, find out, you might be doing business with somebody who's bad for business because they've already done that. Yes. So on Zoom, yes, that is. So on Zoom, TK hosts the Black Filmmakers Lounge Connect Meet and Greet. I don't know what we call it.
Round table.
The round table. There we go. The round table. Yeah. The circle. It should be like the real circle. The real circle. The real
circle. I got it.
And so We come together and it's them talking. It's actually, we try to talk less. We try to kind of guide the conversation because we already talking to you here. We try to talk less. We try to guide it because we want the connections to happen. We want to know where you're at, what you're working on, and how we all can help each other.
Yes.
So that's really what it's about. So hopefully, when we throw up the next promotion saying we're about to have that, you guys chime in and connect. We kind of do it towards the middle of the month, right?
We did it at the end. Well, yeah, we did it at the
Yeah.
end of the month. Like we did it. The last one was at the 19th. Yeah, I guess kind of like third week in the month, something like that. It's
something
no
like
set.
that. Yeah.
That's what we can do is set like the third Thursday or third Tuesday of every month or something. We can do it like that. So we'll talk about that offline. But yeah, we'll make it a particular set date.
Yeah, because they asked us to go once a month because we were like, TK's originally like, we do it every quarter. And they were like, nah, we want it once a month. Like,
yeah, it's like if you want it and you want to participate, let's do it.
Yeah.
So it's all good, Thomas. Hey,
it's
Thomas.
good, Thomas. We'll get you on it, and that's the thing. And maybe what we'll do, we'll talk to TK about how we can do certain things because it get a chance for each of them to focus on certain aspects. So
Learning Tree, if you can watch it this week, guys, we're going to discuss it on Saturday. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the first Saturday of Black History Month, we're going to talk about the Learning Tree. There we go. Here's your time to watch the Learning Tree. So one more time, we're going to repeat it. We're going to watch the learning. We're going to learn about the Learning Tree.
We're going to learn about the Learning Tree.
Now, Gordon Parks, the Learning Tree, his first film. He was the first Black director hired by the industry, by an industry studio, to make that film, which is based on a book he wrote, which is supposed to be autobiographical about his life. So there you go, or a moment in his life. Be strategic, intentional, authentic, because that's what we here at the Black Filmmakers Lounge is all about. So that's where we got to do. We enjoyed you guys. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. We love the comments because y'all keep it flowing.
Yes, thank you for being interactive.
Yes, we love that. And so, hey, thank you for joining us, Michael Melvin and Tamira TK Henderson, here at the Black Filmmakers Lounge. Remember that the Black Filmmakers Lounge is where interdependent filmmakers, whether novice or professionals, come together to gain insight and perspective through education, information, networking, and to discuss industry best practices that will advance the Black interdependent film community. Y'all like that? Forward. So we are creating our own space so that we can succeed together. So we thank you guys. Like, subscribe, share, post this to your pages. Let your friends and family know about it who are really interested in film. And as we progress the time, let's make this happen. If y'all really willing, we're still trying to do those Black Legacy films, short films for February. So hit me up. Let me know if there's something you want to do or showcase. All right. We love you guys. We enjoy y'all. Enjoy your weekend.
Like, subscribe, share.
What?
Like, share. Like, subscribe, share.
Yep. And we out. Peace. We love y'all. Thank you.